I haven't figured out how to get through to somebody when they're triggered in schizoid defenses. You guys have got magic. If you trigger someone's schizoid defense that's scared to death, they're in survival mode. How do you get through? Can you survive the time distortion?
Yeah.
I get affected by the time distortion, and I have superpowers. So do you guys have the superpowers to not fall into the time distortion? Do you have a plan after things stir up? 1, 2, 3? Or is it just number 1? And somehow it's going to work out after number 1?
Well, I don't think you can plan it, because if you plan something like that, you're going to fail.
That's what I've been putting out with John, and then you guys are sowing doubt to like when I'm done. This is my plan, this is what I'm doing. And then you're like, Deef, why are you doing this? I said what my fucking plan is.
How's it working?
It did work. He admitted that he got triggered, Robbie.
Working?
You're gonna throw that again?
Yeah. How is it working?
They're in survival mode. How do you get through? Are you asking this to care, or are you judging my actions, Robbie?
I'm asking this to care, and I'm asking for my own self.
It's working!
Dominate the problem and destroy.
Didn't you see me and Kelly throw back some stuff on John? It's not perfectly getting to his blind spot, but I'm getting there. They're in survival mode. How do you get through?
Getting right up in your fucking face.
Do you really
I don't use dismissal strategies. That is not my strategy, because my mom used that on me. It's my personal moral thing. You guys can use dismissal absence strategies, disappearance strategies. That's not my strategy.
That sucks.
I can't stand that fucking guy.
I find that so murderous. You guys can do it. I'm not going to judge your ability. You can leave, you can whatever, dismiss, but I don't do that. It's so murderous. It's so murderous. It's so murderous. So I listed what I'm doing against John. I'm doing it, and then you guys so doubt in me. Not just that punctured, just like saying, oh, John's loving you. You just need to like open your boundaries and accept space invasion. Accept space invasion.
Yes.
Accept space invasion. That's what you want me to do? Then who's going to protect
it's not working anywhere else.
Except space invasion. What's not working anywhere else? Make your argument now.
I don't need
What's
to
not
make an
working?
argument. You're dominant framing.
Except space invasion.
You're dominant framing.
How am I dominant framing, Robbie? I'm giving you space to make your argument. You want me to just like cave to your frame?
I did that 2 months ago. I did that 2 months ago. So
How's
you
your
jumped
regulation,
sandboxes then.
Robbie?
You jumped some sandboxes.
You see, Robbie's acting out. See? He's saying, I'm dominant framing. Robbie, you're just dominant framing yourself. I get affected by the time distortion. I'm giving you space to entertain your frame, and you're saying, I'm dominant framing. They're in survival mode. How do you get through? They're in survival mode. How do you get through?
Dominate the problem and destroy.
So aren't we both projecting upon each other then?
They're in survival mode. How do you get through? I get affected by the time distortion. Communication naturally has different frames. There's going to be natural projections and assumptions. That statement doesn't mean anything.
Getting right up in your fucking face.
And it's not an equal thing. Just because there's going to be a little bit of mismatches doesn't mean that both sides are stupid. That's bad math.
Getting right up in your fucking face.
Yeah. If one person's off by 10% and this other person's off by 95%, you could say, both people are off. But that's not equal.
We're not in 2 months ago. We're in the present.
Getting right up in your fucking face.
Can you catch us up with what's going on right now?
Dominate the problem and destroy.
My question never got answered 2 months ago.
So 2 months ago, I caused some wound. Can you... I need some help. I need some help. Summarize some of it so I can try to keep up in the rest of the group.
I explored this with you 2 months ago. John attacked your book club, and you can't let that go.
I made clips of that.
Right, exactly. Precisely.
That was August 10th. Less than 2 months ago.
Okay.
I rewatched the video and I made clips and I didn't think that the claim was accurate. You weren't hearing my grief. And you still aren't. You weren't hearing my grief.
I questioned it.
And you still aren't.
When I'm mad, I'm mad. It doesn't matter
and you still aren't.
the naming of it. It's fucking anger.
So your argument back then was like going, Deef got flooded by Zoom bombers. Why is he messing with John?
Exactly.
Yes.
That was the crux of the argument.
That was your argument.
That was
Could your argument have been coming across dismissive to me? You weren't hearing my grief. You weren't hearing my grief. And you still aren't. And this might be a good case study for the group. This is how defense works. We end up evoking the wound in the other person.
I couldn't figure out why you didn't have moral outrage or anger at the Zoom bomb.
You weren't hearing my grief, and you still aren't. Didn't I tell one of them to pretend committing suicide and cutting himself or something?
Yeah, but did you get mad?
That's not moral outrage. I think I was somewhat upset. I was more surprised, maybe, so maybe the upset wasn't there. I wasn't able to locate them as a target. You weren't hearing my grief, and you still aren't. And you still aren't. Haven't you followed my YouTube comments thread? Don't I get upset and beat people up as much as I can?
Yeah, that's why I couldn't figure out why you didn't do it with the Zoom bombers.
And you still aren't. You have to find your target. If the Zoom bombers just want to get kicked, how do I hurt them? I don't like hit and run attacks. I don't like peekaboo attacks. Something personal. I got hit and run, and then it led to my leg getting run over. But I'm laying out my outrage, my argument. My strength is I can spotlight him. His strength is he can disappear. I shouldn't play to my strengths.
There, man. He's not even saying anything. He's just chilling, being a sad old man in England somewhere, just bitter.
That's my argument. And I got this meme out of this. What? Conflict brings out cool reveals. What's wrong with moral outrage? If you're just throwing moral outrage and not seeing stuff and just fighting error and stuff and thinking moral outrage is going to train people into magically having developmental skills, that's my argument, that moral outrage is stupid.
Magical fucking bullshit. I can't stand that fucking guy.